Hey hotties, how you healing? How you feeling? I'm Zenzi and this is Hotties Heal. I'm back and today I want to talk about transmuting negative energy, specifically jealousy and envy, whether it be experienced internally or externally. It's something that I feel is a common emotion among the human population that I just want to shed a little light on. The first thing that I want to get out of the way is knowing the difference between envy and jealousy, because I feel like people use them interchangeably, but there is actually a defined difference. Jealousy occurs when you feel threatened by the possibility of losing something, whereas envy comes from a place of wanting something that you perceive someone else to have that you lack. So basically, to sum it up, jealousy is a feeling of needing to shield something that is already possessed, whereas envy is essentially about wanting what somebody else has. So now that we're all clear on the difference between the two, I want to talk about how we can actually deal with these things. I know I often sound like a broken record because a lot of the first thing that I say when I'm talking about how to deal with something is acknowledgement, but it's true. The first step to dealing with almost anything is acknowledging the truth of the situation. So whether you're experiencing the feeling of jealousy or envy towards, or it's being put onto you, it's still something that needs to be acknowledged. When we attempt to understand why and where something is coming from, it's the first step to being able to deal with these things and cope in a healthy manner. By identifying the root and pinpointing the source of the problem, it's the first step in finding a solution. This can lead to helping you to practice more self-awareness, and also through practicing self-awareness, you can lift yourself up, because self-awareness isn't always about looking at the negative parts of yourself, but it's also about acknowledging the positive parts of yourself, like your accomplishments and your strengths and your values. And these practices will help you to reduce feelings of lack and inadequacy, and will sort of reroute you from comparing yourself to others, which ultimately will limit your feelings of jealousy and envy. The next thing that you can do, especially if you're feeling envious or jealous of someone, is to communicate openly. I know this can be a little bit of a threatening or uncomfortable situation, but if you are in a functioning relationship with the person that you're experiencing these emotions towards, I think honesty is the best policy, and being able to communicate how you're feeling, because it will allow you to not only build trust with this person if they're someone who actually values you, but to work through these emotions so that way they're not just sitting inside you and turning mountains into molehills. Alternatively, if this is someone that you don't value, then my suggestion is to just limit your interaction with them as much as you can. Like, if you're experiencing envy or jealousy towards someone who you're just following on the internet, consider unsubscribing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to interact with that person. And also, once again, look inside yourself and figure out what it is about that person that is making you feel so discontent. The last thing that I can recommend when it comes to feeling envy or jealousy towards another is to focus on personal growth. Set goals for yourself and work towards those things. Oftentimes, when we are experiencing these emotions, it's because we are comparing ourselves to others, and that's just a futile practice, because we're all on our own journeys at the end of the day, and however you're perceiving someone else to be couldn't necessarily be what the actual truth is. So it's better just to focus on yourself, set your own goals, and have something to work towards. And as you start achieving these things and checking off the list, and you can start small, it doesn't have to be something like exponentially life-changing and big. That's almost setting yourself up for failure in a way. It's better to start small and work your way up to things. But through achieving these goals, you will build more confidence and you will be less enticed. I don't know if entice is the right word, but you will be less likely to compare yourself to others because you're going to be focusing on yourself, on your own grind, and just really doing things to better yourself and make yourself feel good. Lastly, if none of that stuff is helping you, maybe consider reaching out to a professional. Look into some type of therapy and find someone who can help you to find healthy coping mechanisms in terms of dealing with jealousy and envy. But as I said earlier, I would like to emphasize that these are commonly experienced emotions by everyone. The only time I feel that you should be concerned that you're experiencing these things is if it's starting to overtake your life and the way that you think and view life in general. Otherwise, give yourself some grace, acknowledge that you're doing it, and just try to reframe your mind. Implement the practices that I've suggested or find things that work for you and go about your business. Now that we've got the whole dealing with feeling of envy and jealousy, let's talk a little bit about how to deal with people being envious and jealous of you. If this is something that you've experienced and you know about it, here are some things that I suggest that you can do to help limit the way that it impacts your sense of self. First, I think it's so important to be cleansing your energy. If you don't know what that means or how to do that, here's what I suggest. And for some people, this might be a little woo-woo, but it's a natural practice that Indigenous people and culturally has been used many years ago and for long periods of time. So it's really not that crazy, but lighting incense, smudging your aura, using sage, rubbing a crystal on your body that's supposed to transmute negative energy, listening to healing sound bowls. Those are all great ways to cleanse your energy. There's also visual things that you can do. Something that I do when I'm holding space for others and they're sharing their negative thoughts and feelings with me, whether it be about me or just something that they've experienced, is I like to envision myself as a human disco ball so that I'm able to listen and receive the information without absorbing it. And the reason I say human disco ball is because, you know, disco balls are reflective. They're like mirrors. So when someone is speaking to me and I'm envisioning myself as being a disco ball, I'm able to hear them and listen and give my opinion without allowing it to come into my energy field, because when they're speaking to me, it's just going to go back. Another thing that I suggest doing if people are sending you the evil eye is to send them love. Love is the key to eternal peace and happiness, honestly. And if I'm being truthful, people who experience envy and jealousy are likely feeling lack within their own life. And we have to send love to the people who experience a lot of negative emotions, even if they're putting out hate, because they're the ones who need the love the most. I know it can be hard to take the high road, but ultimately it's the best decision, because you have to trust that karma is a bitch for a reason. And, you know, the scales will be leveled it's better not to get involved. If this is someone or someone's who you have to interact with for some reason, set boundaries. Boundaries are so important, and they're such a quick and easy fix to dealing with negativity. I know sometimes it's hard to implement boundaries, but setting boundaries is such an act of love, whether it be for yourself or for others. Sometimes you got to be cruel to be kind, baby. And if someone thinks that your boundaries are cruel, that's on them, not you. Lastly, I just say F them. F the haters. I'm thinking of a song that's like, love me or hate me, that is the question. Love me or hate me, still an obsession. If you love me, then thank you. If you hate me, then beep. Yeah, so I'm a strong believer in whether you love me or you hate me, you're still thinking about me, baby, so I must be doing something right. Obviously, you're sending a lot of mental energy my way, and you're giving it to me, so thank you for thinking of me. I'm honored that I have such an impact on your life, and that is the way that I think a lot of people should start thinking about other people who feel negativity towards them, especially if it's coming from a place of just projecting one's own fears and insecurities onto you. Now, if you're actually a crap person, then I don't think that you should have this mindset. But if you're not doing anything wrong and you're just living your life, slay, queen or king. The show must go on, you know what I mean? And if you're unsure about whether or not you feel like someone is sending you the evil eye, I say trust your gut, because I personally have been in many situations where I've had people essentially be a wolf in sheep's clothing, where they present themselves as being my friend, but they're really preying on my downfall, and they only want to be in my life when I'm doing bad, and they're not really supporting me. And you'll know, there will be signs, and trust your gut and just go with that. And if you're wrong, you're fine, you can admit that you're wrong, but it's better just to set those boundaries and to look out for yourself and protect your energy than it is to continue to allow people to infiltrate your force field of love. Does that make me a millennial? Meep. I'm not a Gen Z, but I was always doing this in my pictures in middle school. Okay, anyway, off topic. So that's all I have for you guys today. Keep on keeping on. Remember that you're that bitch, whether you're a male or female, you are that person, okay? And don't let anyone take that away from you. F the haters, and good night. Bye. See you next time.